Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you. Very active group of judges here. Appreciate that. Okay, welcome everybody to the 7th Annual DifferenceMaker Final Awards. We have an amazing audience here of alumni, faculty, administration and staff, students, and most importantly, a collection here of quite quiet, scared-looking teens. Don't worry, it's going to be a wonderful evening for all. I would first just like to quickly introduce myself. I am your MC for the evening. My name is Neil Shortland. I'm an assistant professor with the School of Criminology and Justice Studies. I'm the director of our Centre for Terrorism and Security Studies, and Difference Makers has, to me, always been a very important part of this school, what we do, and what separates us, I think, ideologically and also practically, and the many ways in which we try and help our students grow and enter the workplace ready and geared for success. And hopefully we'll see those stories tonight. I know I can share some of those stories, and I know many of our speakers will as well. So, as many of you know, the Difference Maker program is about innovation, entrepreneurship, and creative problem solving. And the more I live or work, haven't worked that much, I'm still quite young, but the more I live and work, the more I realise that those are universal problems that need to be taught alongside the knowledge, alongside the academics, alongside the skills. And sometimes they fall in the cracks between the courses that are taught. I know I teach a ton of theory to students, but I know in my life I need those entrepreneurial skills, I need problem solving, I need networking. And it's our job to help our students develop those, so that when they graduate they are ready, they integrate into the work stream, and they achieve the heights that we know they can. So that is what Difference Makers is all about. And I hope you leave tonight experiencing that and seeing it, and seeing the power of student creativity and student problem solving. Because every time I see their presentations, every time I see what they've contributed to their teams, the personal, the financial sacrifices they make for their own startup companies, it blows me away. So I hope you leave feeling as positive about this program and this year's cohort as I do. 2 minutes in and I'm already off my script, I'm completely lost. But, no. I do stick to the script when I'm introducing people as important as our next speaker. So, the first speaker I'd like to bring up here is Chancellor Jackie Moloney. She is the UMass Lowell Chancellor and was an early advocate of integrating entrepreneurial lessons and opportunities throughout the campus. As Executive Vice Chancellor, she created UMass Lowell's Office of Entrepreneurship and Economic Development and actually established Difference Makers as a national model for entrepreneurial programming. And I know we have a team tonight with us from another school where Difference Makers has grown out and franchised itself, which is fantastic. Her leadership has also resulted in the entrepreneurial business model for the university. In 2017, she was recognised as one of the 7 prominent women who mean business by the Boston Business Journal, and UMass Lowell has been ranked in the top 10 women-led businesses for the past 2 years in Massachusetts by the Commonwealth Institute and Boston Globe magazine. So please join me in warmly welcoming Chancellor Jackie Moloney.
Thank you, Professor, and thank you for that warm welcome. You really do a good job with the script, I have to say. Well done. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 7th Annual Difference Maker Contest. I cannot believe it has been 7 years since this idea was just a concept, and it came at a time when we were recreating this university, really trying to find a way to provide transformational education to these wonderful, wonderful students that we have here at UMass Lowell. I personally would like to acknowledge, before I go too far in my comments, we have several of our deans here, and I really appreciate their support of Difference Makers. Dean Joe Hartman is here. While Kamal is representing the College of Fine Arts, Humanities, and Social Science. I know I saw Dean Nuruddin Milkechi here earlier. There he is, Dean Science, and Dean Sandy Richtermeyer, who just joined us from the main school of business. And each of the colleges, you know that you've had the opportunity as students to have a very enriching curriculums and hopefully many hands-on experiences. The deans have worked so hard to provide you with that support. And I know when we hear from the student pitches tonight, you will be so impressed, those of you in the audience who haven't heard our students pitch in the past. It is so rewarding, gratifying, but mostly inspiring to hear how far your ideas have come, to see the work that you have done, to take a concept and build it into something that someday may be a business is really astounding. Over 200 students have participated in this year's Idea Challenge. Earlier this month, 33 teams competed in what we call our preliminary pitch-off contest. And then tonight, you see the 10 of those best teams who were selected from the 33 who will compete for $50,000 in prize money, which is remarkable that you've gotten this far. So let's again hear it for these phenomenal teams. I have to say a special thank you to this panel of judges who sits before you. They come here tonight not really to judge you. They come here to support you. These judges are very remarkable business leaders, community leaders, alumni, and friends who have been with us from the beginning as we try to shape this idea of difference makers and make it the most meaningful for you as students to experience. It's been them who stepped to the plate with funding to support the $50,000 in prizes, which we have now funded students over 7 years. Imagine one of the first teams, non-spec, which some of you have heard about, have gone on to take their idea of a limb for children in developing nations, now having raised close to $500,000, distributing their limbs across the world in countries including India and Rwanda, working with the Red Cross to think about how they can further distribute, mass distribute, these very affordable prosthetic limbs. Other students who, in Visaware, which recently was covered in the Lowell Sun. Some of you may have seen, how many have heard of Visaware? Right? Look at a lot of people, they've done fantastic. They're on Amazon. Their emergency button, which again was just a small concept that they had not that time long ago, now a company where they're actually making money, distributing something that has already saved lives. And there are countless examples of these great projects. What we love most about Difference Makers, and I've had the opportunity to talk with the judges earlier, and of course with my co-founder here, Steve Tello, my partner in crime, and everything when there's an idea to be followed. Talk about an idea challenge. Difference Makers was an idea challenge 7 years ago, and it was really Steve and his team, Holly, who's here, and Jackie Buckley, they're the ones who have really shaped it into the real experience that it is today. So let's hear it for this incredible. And this is what Difference Makers is all about. It's taking that idea that seems totally out of the box. It's taking that problem, that challenge that no one else has been able to solve. This is what we teach our students to do here at UMass Lowell. To take the great experience, the great learning that they have in the classroom, and apply it to real world challenges. This is what Difference Makers is about. As Professor Shortland said, this is what distinguishes the UMass Lowell experience. Thank you all for being here to support these wonderful student groups. Good luck tonight. You all are winners this evening. Keep that in mind. You made it here. You are in the top 10 teams. You make us so proud as a university. Good luck with the competition, and thank you again for this.
Before I introduce our next speaker, there are a few thank yous with whom we have to, I think, acknowledge in order to understand the village, as it is, that is involved in the Difference Maker program across the 12 months and beyond. So, very quickly, first, I would like to just acknowledge our Difference Maker faculty fellows who come from across the school. I will ask you all to stand, because I'm never allowed to tell you what to do, so I'm going to ask you all to stand. And we will just give a small round of applause while I read out their names. So we have Imam Shaheen, Michael Hucher, Mazen Al-Ghaziri, Hunter Mack, Mike Murai, Brent Shell, myself, and Michelle Villiers. If you'd like to stand up, well done to you. Thank you. Hunter is also the timekeeper, a very underrated and underappreciated position, but I appreciate it, Hunter. Thank you for getting us home on time this evening. And very quickly, finally, none of this would happen without the amazing Difference Maker staff. So we have Holly, we have Har, we have Jackie, and we have our student co-ops, Pat Butler, Joe Murphy, Adam Vasma, and Sean O'Donnell. So just a thank you to them as well. Our next guest is Stephen Tello. Now, Dr. Stephen Tello, last year was given a very long introduction to read. However, I might have not read it because it involved phrases light and soul of my life, heart and soul of everything we do, and it was very flat. But no, I've been given the opportunity to read from the heart, which is risky. No, Stephen Tello has changed the lives of students at this university, and I don't think there's a higher praise for it. You will meet some of them this evening. We will see some of them going forward in the next few years. I am astounded by the work that you've done. I'm amazed by the impact that you've had. It is a pleasure to work with you, and I really do appreciate everything you've done. So please come and take the stage. Dr. Stephen Tello.
Well, it doesn't happen too often, but I am blushing, so. Well, thank you very much, Neil, and thank you to everyone for being here with us tonight. It's really exciting to know that this is the 7th Difference Maker event, and we have some news tonight that I'll be able to share with you that will help guarantee that this program continues on for quite a while. First of all, like Neil, I'd like to thank all of our supporters and sponsors, because without you, Difference Maker really wouldn't be possible, and certainly the team here that makes it happen. I would like to ask Chancellor Moloney to join me on stage, because we do want to thank some folks who have a special recognition for some of our benefactors this evening who have helped support the Idea Challenge Awards. So as the Chancellor mentioned, the funding for the awards, funding for a lot of the activity that occurs during the years is funding that's raised by working with sponsors and by working with our alumni. And it's a significant amount of funding that we have to raise each year. And the fact that you all have been able to commit this to us, make these contributions and support us, really does mean a lot and makes this all possible. So first, I would like to name, I'm very happy to say that this year we're actually going to name some of our award categories after some of our donors. And that's really helpful for us. It was a goal of ours 6-7 years ago, and it's come to fruition. So I'd like Andrew Sutherland, class of '94. Andrew, would you please come up to the stage? Is sponsoring the Sutherland Innovative Technology Solution Prize. And the Innovative Technology Solution is a new and innovative technical approach to solving a problem. So Andrew, thank you very much. Yes. We also have a partnership with Circle Health. And Circle Health, we've been working with them around the opioid crisis and creating some hackathons around that. And so if Diane Maltese is in the audience, Diane, are you here? Yes. Excellent. I'd like to thank Circle Health. Circle Health is sponsoring our contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle Award. And the solution that the students pitch will help improve the quality of health for an individual or a community. Many of you know our next guest, President Emeriti Jack Wilson, Jack, would you please join us on stage? Jack has been a mentor.
In uniform.
Jack has been a mentor and a sponsor of these events, and we are naming the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award in honor of his support. And then another organization we'd like to thank is Chris McKenna from Foley & Lardner. Foley & Lardner provides $15,000 of legal services to our students, to the teams that are in the boot camp after they leave here tonight, and that's proved really helpful. And I think it's Chris's birthday this evening, which is why he's not here, but we'll thank them as well. So we also have some very exciting and special news this evening. So Brian Riss, would you please join us on stage? Brian is a class of 1977 graduate of the Manning School of Business. Brian's a Massachusetts native who relocated to Florida. And after Hurricane Andrew in 1992, he saw the devastation that storm brought to that area. And one of the things he notices was that the garage door failures from wind and water damage really contributed to the damage during those storms. So in response, Brian founded Storm Smart Industries, a company that was initially dedicated to helping residents protect their homes from these deadly storms. After Hurricane Charlie struck the Gulf in 2004, Storm Smart's business surged more than 300%. Since founding Storm Smart in 1996, Brian has dedicated his energies to customer service, product development, company growth, and sustainability. Over the past few years, we've had the pleasure of getting to know Brian through his involvement in DifferenceMaker, and he's really become a champion of the program. He served as a judge, mentored student teams, like many of you, and has contributed to the financial support of the program. However, this evening we are here to thank Brian and his wife, Kim Riss, and to announce a gift of $2 million to support the establishment of the Risk DifferenceMaker Institute. The Risk DifferenceMaker Institute is going to support the establishment of the Risk DifferenceMaker Graduate Student Fellowship, who will mentor and support our student teams. The travel and participation of DifferenceMaker student teams to national competitions, such as South by Southwest and other competitions like that. The creation of the Risk DifferenceMaker Student Co-op, and the naming of the Risk Campus-wide DifferenceMaker Award. So let's all give a great big UMass Lowell thank you to Kim and Brian. If you would like to say a couple words?
Actually, the pleasure is really all mine. I got involved in DifferenceMakers about 3 or 4 years ago, and when I got to see some of you guys, or earlier editions of you guys, present some of the things you do, it was just no way I could just walk away from it and not do it. So our business did such a good job of supporting us that we're in a position where we can help others. And knowing that the DifferenceMakers will be sustainable from here on out is really, truly an honor and a pleasure. And I just congratulate you all. And I remember not that long ago, I was just starting out and kind of doing some of the things you guys are doing tonight. And it's funny how the world goes by, and it goes by real quickly, and things change. And I'll tell you, I'm proof that it really can happen. Today, our businesses, all around the world, we employ over 200 people and have over 24 years in business. And it all started here at UMass Mass. So thank you guys, good luck. Thank you.
And now the pitching begins. That wasn't meant to be a joke, it was probably the funniest one. No, so over this semester, DifferenceMakers began with presenting to 3,200 students in classrooms. From there, we had 54 original applications for ideas, encompassing around 200 members of our student body. 33 of those teams then presented in the initial pitch-off to 28 alumni judges, which has led to the top 10 being here tonight. Now those top 10, as we've heard several times, will be competing for $50,000 in prizes. And those range of prizes for a series of different awards based on the innovative nature of their campaign and their program. But I think that 50,000 is only part of what this is really about. And I think what this evening really does is it gives the groups hope and shows you that people believe in what you're doing. I want to tell you one very quick story. At the back of the room is a gentleman called Tyler. He doesn't want you to look, he didn't iron his shirt today, but he's at the back. Tyler was part of Operation 250. 2 years ago, they were the campus-wide difference maker and they won $6,000, which they have since turned to around about $1 million in donations and work, and their educational program is currently being implemented and in negotiations to be used all across the country. Incredible work. What Tyler will tell you is that all of that comes from one meeting the day after he lost the first competition he took part in. After a taxi ride where he told me why he thought he should have won, we went and met with an alumni called Roger Cressy, who heard Tyler's ideas and the teams and what he was doing, and he just said, stop right there, I'll give you $1,000, just keep going. And I think it was that belief. It was just understanding and hearing that people actually believed in what he was doing, more than the money. So whatever happens tonight, teams, whatever happens, take that belief with you, because that will get you far further with your project. That you are here means that judges, means that means that everybody believes in the ideas that you have and what you have proposed. So you are all winners. I do sincerely mean that. Now, you do actually have to get judged though, and they don't look as nice as me. So, let me please announce who our judges are so we can get with the really interesting part of the evening. So, first and foremost, we have a new judge this year, Jim Barry from the Kennedy College of Sciences, President and CEO of Inspire MD. Thank you for being here. We're going right to that. Our second judge is Lorna Boucher, Head of Product Branding Strategy, KCG Holdings Incorporated. Hello, good to see you. We next have Mary Burns, College of the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. The best. Principal, Splash Media Group Boston, LLC. Thank you very much for being here. Next, Jim Regan, the Manning School of Business, President and CEO, Digital Federal Credit Union. Thank you, sir. And I know our next judge now needs no introduction, but Brian Risk, thank you for being here and thank you for being on the panel. And we have two additional judges who are not listed, but luckily, I'm going to use my eyes. Mark Saar, thank you very much for being here, sir. We really appreciate it. And Jack Wilson, thank you very much for being here. Skipped around there. So the evening now goes as follows. We have 10 teams, 10 ideas. They are given 5 minutes to present their idea. They are given a 5-minute grilling, as nice or as nasty as you like it to be. And then we roll on. We have some breaks in the intervals. We have some raffles with some amazing prizes. At the end of all 10, the bar opens up. And then we have the announcement. And it'll go by just like that. So, our first team coming to the stage, Benji Ball. And it is going to be presented by Benjamin McAvoy and Edward Moranti. Well done, gents. Welcome to the stage.
How are you today? My name is Benjamin McAvoy. I'm an entrepreneurship and finance major.
I'm Edward Moranti, an elementary education and water and facilities major.
And our other partner, Gavin Donahoe, is a plastics engineering major, and our product is Benji Ball. So the common opportunities for Benji Ball to solve revolve around backyard and beach games, and the problem of having inadequate space or land to play the game, whether it's a small backyard or a small area at the beach, and also the difficulty of getting a large enough group together to play a game of, say, football or just any backyard game. And also baseball in itself is a difficult sport to learn, require some sort of athletic skill. And parents nowadays also want their kids to be more active outside more than ever. And also relating to special needs athletics, participation in these athletics are usually limited for those with special needs, especially baseball, because of the physical and developmental skills that it does require to play. And for our target markets, for backyard, for baseball, youth leagues, and camps and gym classes, there are about 5.6 million children ages 6 to 12 that play youth baseball. That number's been growing by about 6% each year since 2014. And youth sports in general is about a $15 billion industry. And with the backyard and beach games, backyard and beach game industry has done about $4.08 billion in sales a year since 2016. And out of everyone that's gone to the beach in the last year, 31% say they have gone to the beach so their children can play. There are about 20 million families in the U.S. with 2 or more children who have gone to the beach over 36 million times in the last year. And relating to the Miracle League, which is a baseball league meant for children with special needs, there are over 57 million people in the U.S. with special needs, 2.8 million of whom are ages 5 to 15. And Miracle League has over 300 programs across 5 different countries with over 1 million participants in total. So our solution is one ball with every outcome of an at-bat on it. So no matter what side, or after you hit it, whatever side of the ball lands facing up determines the outcome of the at-bat. And the bat is designed with a barrel similar in shape to a cricket bat, so it provides a larger surface area to make contact with the ball and an easier chance for the player to get an actual hit. The ball we designed similar, larger than a traditional baseball bat, larger than a traditional baseball ball, and we made it so that it's easier to see, throw, and hit, and the manufactured final product will be soft material, making it suitable to play indoors without risk of injury or damage.
And just the main people that we believe would benefit from bench ball are those 20 million families who want to have their kids be more active either in the backyard or at the beach. Just because bench ball can be played with only 2 people with not that much space, because bench ball does not require that big of an area to play in. As well, just because of that, we believe that it would be great in gym classes with a lack of space, or just any school with a lack of space. And with Miracle League, just because bench ball is with a more inclusive version of baseball, it'll help any kids with special needs or any physical disabilities become more active, which will increase their physical, social, and emotional characteristics. And we also believe that any youth baseball league will benefit from this, just because it is a more simplistic version of baseball to help them understand the rules a little more.
And for our current stage and where we're at, as you can see, we have 2 official prototypes manufactured with the assistance of our industrial designer, Federico Diaz. And we're also working currently with UMass alumni and CEO of Chemline, John Pantanella, to get the product to the manufacturing stage to be able to sell. And we are also officially patent pending as of February. And also, if we were fortunate enough to win any funding, that funding would go towards finalizing the patent process, the initial costs of tooling and the first batch of manufactured products, and also the creation of our website and social media pages to be able to market on all these platforms and show testimonial videos and proof of use. For the business operations, we designed bench ball with all factors in mind to make it sustainable for many years to come, and also with a positive social impact behind it related to Miracle League. And how we expect to sell bench ball is through our social media and website pages that we'll create, and also by utilizing direct business-to-business sales, utilizing our contacts at Miracle League and youth baseball camps. And right now, the cost to produce 1 unit of the ball and bat is $5.68. And if we were to put it at a sale price of $24.99, we would produce a profit margin of 77% per unit. And that is a fairly good price, because if you look at the average cost of football, which is a less detailed version of baseball, it averages about $12 a unit, but still does about $7 million in sales per year. And blitzball, which is a more advanced version of wiffle ball, falls just above our cost at $27, but they still do very well. And the average beach games do range from about $6 to $60, so we do fall in that lower third percent of the cost, so it is still an affordable product. Thank you for your time. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
You mentioned the marketing, and you spoke of social marketing and the websites. Is that mainly how you're going to get this message out?
Yeah, so first, especially with social media becoming extremely popular day by day. We first want to do the testimonials and proof of use in the videos to show and advertise on Instagram, Twitter, other kinds of social media, and including our website that we build out.
I think you may have mentioned that you worked with some of the organizations that work in these communities. What were they again?
Yeah, so we have discussed with Miracle League, which is a baseball league specifically meant for children with special needs, and we've discussed with them about implementing the product into their game. And we actually, once the league starts, the summer league that's starting soon, we do have a meeting planned for one of the Saturdays to be able to speak with them and introduce them to the game, and then also youth baseball leagues and camps in the general
What
area.
about Special Olympics, for instance, or any of those individual that they were hearing about?
Yeah, so Special Olympics, with it being a much larger organization, we first wanted to show the proof of use in the testimonial videos by incorporating it into the smaller programs, the youth baseball leagues, and the smaller program, the Miracle League, and then hopefully down the road, incorporate it into the larger programs as we do.
When you look at working with children with disabilities or special needs, these are pretty hard objects. Is it flexible for something that you can change to whether they're hard or soft versus a softer, like a tennis ball versus a baseball type of thing?
Absolutely. So for the limit on costs, for the limit on spending that we did have at first, we designed the product with the not the actual material that it would be made out of. So the final ball will be made out of what's called self-skinning EVA foam, which is a soft material similar to that of a foam ball. So you can play it in gym classes indoors without risk of injury or breakage of glass. And then the bat also, we will be using that shape, but with that material, so it's a soft, it's a lighter material that no matter if you're 5, 6 years old, all the way up to however old you want to play at, you can still swing that with ease. So these prototypes that we have are just more of a visual prototype.
Is there a sort of age, minimum age or sort of, optimal sort of youngest user age? What is the child age?
Yeah, so our main age that we were looking at is about 6 to 18. So at the age 6, that's when they can start getting involved in the Miracle League. So that's when we figured that would be an appropriate age for them to start utilizing that product. Not all the way up to really any age. I mean, I still know people who are playing with the ball myself too, as keep growing. So.
I think this is a great product. I mean, that we use in our baseball and active. So this is similar to the bat they use now. So I think it's a great concept.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I got the idea from, I worked a lot with special needs, Special Olympics and Best Buddies throughout my high school. And I actually became friends with one student that I'm really good friends with all the way from freshman year of high school still up till now. I participates in the active Miracle League as well. So I've been able to introduce it to him as well and basically play it as well.
How does gameplay work? Is it the same rules as baseball, basically?
Yeah, so like with football, you can play it in any traditional way that you want. You can really make up the rules, but the rule book that we have set is more geared towards the Miracle League. So for those in Miracle League, some are fully capable of running and moving left to right as they want, and then some are also limited to wheelchairs. So instead of having to chase down the ball after you make contact with the bat, you can take your time to get to the ball, and whatever side of the ball lands facing up determines the outcome of the at-bat. So sometimes if you watch Miracle League, sometimes the players in it we can see are aggravated because sometimes they are limited to the wheelchairs and they do have some difficulty navigating around. So say it lands on triple, sometimes instead of them having to navigate all around base, they go ease straight to third base, which allows the flow of the game to still keep up with that.
Thank you.
Our next team is ECG for Me, which is the team of William Brazil, Rachel Harrington, and Taylor Bell. Welcome.
Hi guys. So my name is Rachel Harrington, this is Taylor, and that's Will, and today we're going to be talking about ECG for Me. So how many of you guys play sports, or maybe you used to play sports, or you have children that are involved in sports? Well, what if I told you that 2,000 young lives are lost every year to sudden cardiac events alone in the United States? Even more alarming, 1 in 500 are diagnosed with HCM, which is a common cardiac disease on the same level of occurrences as AIDS. And even more alarming, 1 in 250 are diagnosed with DCM, another cardiac condition in these populations. Unfortunately, only 25% of the individuals affected by these conditions are saved through current treatment methods such as CPR. And as many of you know, going to see a specialist is really trying in that you have to make an appointment with your primary to get a referral for a specialist, and trying to juggle these busy schedules is really, really difficult. Even still, these individuals are not showing any signs or symptoms of these diseases and are therefore not being monitored for them. So ECG for me is a wearable heart monitor. It is lightweight, easily concealed. It's worn on the chest, and it's paired with a smartwatch and a smartphone. It will continuously monitor and detect for underlying heart conditions in these populations.
So the innovation of our product is that it is an easily applicable apparatus with a simple user interface on the watch that can be worn during strenuous activity. Another point is cost efficiency. To go get a 12-lead ECG stress test done at a cardiologist costs roughly $1,500. Our price point would be much less than that and would be used continuously as you own the product. Functionality, in the function way, we are not a medical device, which bars us the necessity of having to get an FDA approval, which could put us in the market much earlier. Rather, if we have early detection of cardiac disease, and then you could start a conversation with your doctor from that point. So through some surveying we did, we found that through athletes, coach, and parents, 85% used iPhones. So we used the Apple operating system as the basis for the prototype that we're working on. And we found that 56% would use the monitor every day. And that the average person would be willing to pay $115 for the product. If we extrapolate this data, there's 42 million high school students, athletes in America alone, and another 12 million college athletes. And you can take into consideration anybody health fanatics, CrossFit. You know, it's endless. There's a big health trend in our country now and around the world. So competition for our exercise, or for exercise heart monitors. Like I said, we are not a medical device, so we can bar, we can exclude looking at anything like a Holter monitor or a cardio cue. Those would require a doctor prescription. We don't need that, and we don't need FDA clearance. Rather, we would be compared to things like Polar H10 or Nike Zoom, or Garmin, for example, all which do a relatively minimalistic heart rate monitoring and heart rate variability. Whereas the algorithm we are building into our product would detect for arrhythmias of underlying heart disease. So what we need from difference makers, we've already hit the ground running with prototyping. You guys kind of saw what we were passing around, what the apparatus would look like. We have already ordered some of the chips. But as far as app development and user interface and software development is where we're looking to allocate more funds. And with that, I'd like to thank our advisors, Dr. DeWild and Dr. Moore, and especially thank the Difference Makers platform for having us here. It is targeted to a younger group, of course, because that's where the most deaths per year happen in these asymptomatic diseases. But we could scope out much farther. So it's continuous monitoring. So an alert will pop up as if an irregularity pops, like comes up in the heart rate. Yeah, if it was serious enough, it would alert 911. If it was like a minimalistic aberration, then it would alert you to like slow down, take a break.
Is collecting data on an ongoing basis so that that can be shared with a doctor, or so they can download that data later?
Yeah, so it'll continuously monitor and detect and alert for these conditions, and you have the control to decide whoever you want to send them to. So you can have a coach be on the platform. You could have your doctor, your mom, your dad, anyone really who you would like this information to go to. So it's in your control.
Can you share that?
Yep.
Is there,
Yes, because it's Bluetooth, you'd have to have the watch on, like in the vicinity.
I know at least the MIAA allows you to wear watches and things like that. I ran in my high school years when you're allowed to have a watch while you're running and things like that.
It would also help a lot for, personal trainers, something like that, just have them on the athletes while they're maybe practicing or doing a run or something like that, just to get an idea.
Rather than physical contact.
is there a, how long does the device last?
So this is the razor blade model. This is the durable, and the adhesive pads are the consumables. So they're medical grade, so they're able to stay on for a good amount of time. And those would be tossed out, and we purchase more pads when needed. So the wearable, the monitoring device is the durable that we're selling, along with the pads.
Right, so the wearable, does that have a...
No, you just charge it when the battery dies.
Okay, so it's rechargeable.
Yep.
Is it compatible with Fitbits, or is it for the
So right now we're only going to be compatible with Apple Watch 4 because they have the V1 lead. But we further plan to develop our own wristbands so that we can expand to Android and other operating systems.
First of all, I think this is a really cool idea. But, and I heard what you said about the kids having a lot of problems with medical problems. But yet, it would seem to me like how everybody would want to kind of do this.
Right.
So, are you limited to directing towards the kids? And then the second question is, you didn't really say how you're going to market it.
So originally, the idea came from seeing these types of tragedies in these populations. And that was the main target because we wanted to make an effort, make a difference in these populations. But we realize now marathon runners, CrossFitters, those types of populations, even like softball leagues,
Geriatric.
anything like that. Yeah, so it definitely can be expanded to those types of populations, but originally it was thought to help these.
So how do you market it?
So with the data survey that we did for UMass Lowell, we actually surveyed a high school. We feel that the results that we got were really going to translate to the rest of the market. So universities, colleges, high schools, gyms, physical therapist office, across the country will definitely see the importance of this device.
I should mention we've talked to some exercise physiologists, some cardiac specialists, parents of lost ones. There seems to be a lot of validation that people would want this product.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's getting the message out. That's going to be your challenge. And I mean, I think everybody wants to make sure, would love to know that they're going to have a heart problem or something, and Apple's certainly trying to do it and opens everything. But you've got to somehow get known by everybody.
Right. We've heard also that we should get all the parents on board to make it mandatory at the schools. Kind of like helmets, you see the big issues with CTE. It became a focus, and then people started to attack that. So that's something we'd like to work towards.
Yeah, we'd like to gear kind of towards athletic directors of colleges, kind of make this a standard, because right now there is no standard. We're seeing all these stats every year.
So the Apple Watch itself, the new one, has the ability to
I know it's.
Detect AFib through a single lead, EKG.
This is actually the Series 4, which has the capability of doing this. So there's an app on here. You have to be sitting or resting to use this function. So you just create this, which is considered a lead 1 as a biologist. And this will detect for AFib. So it can only do that, whereas we're looking to target these underlying conditions which require more extensive leads. Yeah.
I think the focus on anarrhythmia and asynchronous behavior is actually pretty brilliant. Because I think, pulse monitors, et cetera, just look at
Heart rate,
acceleration of heart rates,
yeah.
and that can spike.
Right. Frequently, as you're working out, while we're looking for the actual
Atypical behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
And this will also test for other health parameters that I know a lot of the other popular devices use, like Fitbit and Garmin. This is just taking it a step further.
But at the same selling price point.
Right.
That is
And not.
time.
Sorry.
Thank you, everybody. Right, and now on to our third team. We have EV Smart with Omkar Bakal. So welcome to the stage.
Hello everyone, my name is Omkar and I'll be presenting on behalf of my team. So my team members are from different universities, so they couldn't make it. So basically, it's an two-way online platform for both EV owners as well as the homeowners. So we want to increase the adaptation of electric vehicles in US. So what's the problem? So there's only 1% penetration of electric vehicles in US, and these cars are very short range, and because of low battery capacity, there's a range anxiety among the potential buyers due to limited charging stations. So current situation is like every car has around 150 miles range that hinders on a full charge. So you can't commute from like east coast to west coast at a go. As you can see the map, the black icons represent the fuel stations, the gas stations, and the green ones indicates the EV charging stations. So EV charging stations are only clustered into the major populated areas. So if you are into the upper top Midwest region, you can't even think of buying electric vehicles. So that's the hindrance. And third one is the winter EV. So during winters, battery drains very quickly. So if you are in office, some workplace, so battery will just drain and you can't even go back home. So what's the opportunity? So there are around 127 million homes which have private parking space. And even if we consider 1% penetration, that's like very large number as compared to available public charging stations. So it's a great opportunity for a host to earn a passive income by just providing the parking space when not in use. And we just targeted 1% for now, but with increasing electric vehicles, we would increase the market. So our solution is very simple. We want to have a convenient solution for EV owners. For hosts, we want them to get a passive income. So it's basically if you have low battery charge, you just use our app. You see the nearby houses who have charging stations at their home. You request them, you communicate with them using a messaging app, and that's how the charging will be done. So for the customer, we'll have real-time updates, in-app payment, advanced booking, and hospital services. For a host, you will have flexible service. You can choose your own dates and times. You can have extra passive income. You can accept or deny according to your convenience. And you can provide additional services. So for example, some charging stations have level 1 and level 2. So that would require 6 hours to 8 hours of charging. So you can literally spend overnight, do the overnight charging, and you can spend the night at that place at a convenient charge. So how we will as a company earn? So we'll take just 3% commission on every transaction. We'll have 6 to 12% commission on extra services like CCTV monitoring and providing installation of EV chargers at your home. And we are thinking to do partnership with EV brands, EV charging stations, and as well as EV service assistant providers. So basically just to increase their business and increase their sales. So we are really a good team. We have 2 computer science background students, and we are looking forward to work on this concept. So this is the funding we require, and that's the timeline. So we are thinking to launch our startup after 3 months during summer. And so we received around $1,000 by Mars CEC on winning first prize at Make Harvard at Harvard University. And we got $7,500 at the pitch competition at Wisconsin by clinching second place. So we require $11,500 more to launch a startup. And we are also expecting summer boot camps exit program by Mars Challenge as well as Starter Tech Town. So these will provide us office space as well as resources to work on a startup during summer. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please ask.
So the way you're handling it, you're basically the middle person, you're going to be collecting, you're going to be charging a commission.
Yes.
What is that going to cost you? Like, is 3% enough for you to cover the cost of processing those transactions and make money?
Yes, so initially if you have, for example, $1,000, 1,000 downloads, so if you're EV owner, so every transaction 3% means around $26. If you have 1,000, I'll just show you the details. So if you have just 1,000, for example, if you have 5,000 downloads, so we can just have around 30 transactions by every customer. From every customer, we can get $26.67 commission. So that from just one customer. So from 5,000 customers, we would get around $124,000 as a company revenue. That's our model.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so for that we'll do the advertising and we'll be getting in touch with the news channels, advertising and other models. And also we're thinking to partnership with EV charging brands. So most of the EV charging brands don't even, they are literally going into the loss. So if we introduce this application to them, so they can really increase the business. That's all. Yes.
So this model is envisioned to be rather like Uber, where the owners of charging stations would kind of go online and say, hey, I'm available for people who want to come in and charge.
Yes, exactly. And for the host, it will act as an Airbnb. So they can have their own charging plans. Base fare, that's around $1 to $2. Hosting fees, like for renting the parking space, that's like, for example, $3 to $5. And then if you want to provide overnight stay or food, hospital charges, that would cost around $15 to $20 or $25. So that would really increase their own extra passive.
Are you also thinking about implementing a scoring system for providers and users? You know how the way it works is that like the drivers and the riders each score each other? So you get 5 stars for doing a good
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I will just show you the mock-up. So here, as you can see, the first part is the second window, the screen, that's like the rating symbol, so that's like 4.5. That's how.
So let's just take these codes where it seems like there's like a lot of charging stations. Have you sort of surveyed those areas and people are saying, look, these electric cars are saying, yeah, it's a good product. Because people on Waze today, you know, they'll drive down the road and Waze will show you exactly where the charging stations are too.
Yes, so the only problem currently is like all those stations are clustered into some populated areas. So if you are living in a town, for example, near Lowell or some other near Amherst or some other place, so you want to commute from this place to, for example, Michigan. So it's a long commute and you might not find a charging station for around 50 to 100 miles. So that's the problem. And there are a lot of small towns, houses who live in those areas. So that's how I do this business.
Are there any regulatory implications for providing electricity? Sort of like, I mean, have you explored whether or not you're going to hit any roadblocks
We are working on it currently because we are all into technical balance, so we haven't thought about that, but we are literally working. Also, we have like a good competition, but we really. So these are the current EV charging station providers. They are really out of business because EV owners don't have knowledge about these companies. So they have a fleet of vehicles, but they are going to loss. And these are the charging stations. They have their own charging stations published throughout the US, but they don't go into the business because these are competing against each other. Third one is the home charging stations. They are into the business, but they are not going much. They are not increasing their own business. Third one is like the peer-to-peer model. Everyone is using to just earn extra passive income. So we want to integrate all of those into the one application.
Okay, before our fourth group, I have some minor announcements, some requests, and a raffle announcement, which should amaze and incite. First and foremost, if people at the back would like, there are a few seats over in this corner. Just if you'd like to rest your legs at any point this evening, that's an open invitation. The second announcement to the judges. When you ask your questions, would you mind sharing the mics? Just so that the people in the back can hear what you're asking of the audience. Is that all right? Thank you very much. Okay, and finally now we have the raffle announcement of a flag hat. Not together, they're two separate things, a flag and a hat. Bobblehead, 4 tickets to UML hockey versus Alabama Huntsville, and 6 tickets to any UML men's or women's basketball game, and the winner is, that's not me raffling from my inner pocket, just of my friends. I was given these earlier. The winner is Louis Sirignano, a realtor from the Synergy Group. Is Louis here? Is that Louis?
Louis, there he is.
Hey!
Well, I'll take anything.
Have a great one, all right? Thanks. All right, and our fourth group, I'm excited about this one because they, as you can see, they've promised something exciting. Oh no, they've not promised anything exciting. They have. We'll let them promise. No. We have Jam Fuse with Nicholas Bedard and Stephen Wahome. I'm excited.
Mic check. As a musician, you want people to listen to your music. You want them to understand you. You want them to see your pain, your passion, your love. You want them to feel you. But none of that is possible unless you have the right networks for them to hear you. So I want to welcome all musicians and all music lovers to a one-stop shop. Welcome to Jam Fuse.
Woo! My name is Steven.
I am Nick.
And as you can see, there are many talented local artists out there, such as Nick. The only problem is 90% of them will go unheard, and only 1% actually get on the radio or the TV. In addition to that, these artists face 3 major problems. Problem number 1, it costs $500,000 to $2 million just to get started in the music industry. Now this is to get on the radio like the Justin Biebers you hear, or get on TV like the Drakes you see on TV. Number 2, the field is super crowded. There are currently 28 million inspired artists out there today. With such a huge number, it can be very hard to stand out. In addition to that, it's very hard to find the right services you need, such as the right recording studios to record at, the right venues to play your music, or the right videographer to shoot your video. And because of this difficulty, these artists are missing out on opportunity of a market that is how big, Nick?
$51.5 billion is what the music industry made last year worldwide. $51.5 billion. $19.6 billion was made here in the US. That's nearly 40% of the market. That's where we're starting our business. That's where we're starting our platform. Our site is catered around musicians. But being a musician, there's a lot of playing parts that go into it, such as the right studio to record your music. You need the right videographer to shoot your videos, the engineers to make your beats. We will even allow A&Rs who can potentially sign these musicians to record deals. and the number one reason why all musicians make music for their listeners. You can see that musicians and all their service providers, that's our target market. We actually surveyed one of our target markets, studios, over 22 across the country, and they all came back with two common problems. They need a better booking system, and they need more clients. That's something JamFuse has, but that's not the only solution we offer. Me and Steven would like to show you a very short video on everything JamFuse could do.
Are you a musician that's looking to take your career to the next level? Are you a studio owner planning to rent out your studio space? Are you a videographer searching for your next gig? Or just a listener who loves hearing new music? If so, we've got the website for you. With JamFuse, you'll be able to bring your talents to life with our one-stop shop music platform. You'll be able to find or rent out the most cost-effective studios near you. Looking for the next top beat for your song? Check out our Beats page, where you'll be able to listen to our best instrumentals from the top producers in the area. Do you have a particular idea in mind? Post a job or gig for others to apply to, or even apply to someone else's gig. Everything from looking for a videographer to finding the best engineers in the game. And discovering local artists has become even easier. With our Discover page, you can see all the local talent near you. JamFuse offers it all. Everything from local shows, customized playlists, to video models. Join JamFuse today.
What you just seen in the video is that JamFuse is a one-stop shop for all musicians. There is no other site like this. Let me explain. You have World Star Hip Hop. You are only allowed to upload music videos. Spotify, you only can stream music. Another platform like Studio Time where you can only book studios. All of our competitors only offer one service. JamFuse offers it all.
And because we offer it all, and because we cater to so many services within the music industry, JamFuse will always be free to sign up in order to gain traction and build brand awareness. And once we got those two things, we'll be moving to a three-step revenue model. Step number one, transactional cost. This is where we'll be taking a small percentage of every transaction on the site, such as when somebody books a studio or buys a beat. Number two, membership subscription model. This is where service providers, such as studios, can pay a monthly subscription of $20 to $140 in order to gain bigger exposure that can lead to more clients. And number three, music spotlight. Now, artists already upload their music for free on our website, but with the music spotlight, they get paid to gain a bigger reach. And in order to make this happen, and in order to elevate JamFuse to bigger heights, these are the resources we're going to need to build upon the greatness we've already started. Thank you, and any questions? Thank you.
So where do you start? Who's your target? I mean, I know you want to focus on artists, you want to focus on promoters, you different folks. How do you get to that? Like, it's a really great ad and work, but where are you getting to that? What's the best way to get there?
Yeah, sure thing. So the first one, I'm going to add where we start, and then next I'm going to say after we get to them. So right now, as you can see that video, this site is already actually up. Right now, we're concentrating connecting the artists to the studios. So for example, Airbnb for music studios, just to connect them to. So we already spent $15,000 of our own dollars to create this, in addition to the promo video. And in addition to getting more people out there and hearing about the message, Nick will talk about the marketing.
And just to piggyback off what he said, we actually already have 100 members plus signed up. Even though we target the US, we got studios in Australia signing up. You know, we got people across the nation signing up. And as far as that, like Steven said, our target first is studios and musicians. Obviously, musicians will bring in all the service providers. So musicians is the #1 key. As far as that, we are currently running Instagram ads because we find out that all the social medias, those get you the most impressions, which means the most views. And that is generating the signups, and if we were able to have more marketing dollars to help that, we would keep getting more signups.
Studios to sign
All right, yeah, now we are currently, we've been calling studios, so we're telling them, you want more clients? Sign up on our site. And studios will run to where there's clients, you know? Like, no one will not run to money they could potentially put in their pocket. So right now, we're calling studios. 100 calls a day.
And if they agree, then their name gets put on your app, and the artist can just put it on.
Yeah, so it's like I said, for everybody, it's free to sign up. As far as the transaction that Steve was complaining, if they want to pay a membership fee, that just allows them a bigger reach, and it makes them seem more official. Like on Instagram, when you get the check mark, it just makes them seem more official. So that's what the subscription is, but it's free for everyone to sign up.
Is the idea that musicians would also sort of put themselves out there and make themselves available for gigs? Is that also part of the mix?
Yeah, so one of the aspects that we have there is jobs and gigs, where artists can go up there and say, I want to perform at, X, Y, Z for X amount of dollars. In addition to that, venues could also sign up, and we have a venue page where they say, we're looking for a rock band, or we're looking for a rap band for tonight. So we just start taking all the services that all these musicians and service providers need, and just creating one marketplace. Like Nick said, there's a lot of sites that do it, but they're one-off. But nobody's just brought them all together. That's what we're trying to do.
And you're going to stream the music as well? You're going to let people upload?
So yeah, people will be uploading their own music, and we actually have a playlist where in the corner of every upload, you can add it to your playlist and basically stream the playlist you created from what you found on the site.
There's a tremendous amount of algorithm development in places like Spotify, Pandora, etc. to match music to tastes and play behavior and stuff like that. Is that part of the mix that you guys are building, or is that phase 2?
Yeah, that's definitely phase 2. Right now, we only have one developer, great guy named Paul. If you ever need a developer, look him up. So that's what we have. In addition to getting these funds, we're looking out to build a team and build those such features that really cater to the actual individual.
So let me just go back again to this photo. So you have 100 people signed up?
Yeah,
and those are musicians, I assume?
Yeah, musicians, studios. We have a couple of videographers because we know people as well. We're trying to expand this to everyone. But yeah, mostly musicians and studios because that's where we're targeting right now.
And to piggyback off that, we actually launched 2.5 weeks ago. So those 100 plus people have just been in 2 weeks of very minimal ads and just really calling people and going to music events. So I think once we get the message out there and build out the rest of the site, field is just going to keep coming.
Have you had any transaction behavior? Sorry. The question was, have you had any transaction behavior in that 2 weeks so far?
Yeah, we actually have a studio out here in Ashland Lowell called Stupid Genius. That's the real name, I swear, I'm not making it up. And they actually been using it to just book their clients. And what they said, eventually, in that market, the target market that we did, people are still using the typical I'll text you, I'll email you. With our booking system, is they legit get an email on the site or a notification that says, hey, you were booking at 5 o'clock. That's so easy. You just get up, your whole schedule is made up for you with your studio. And it's free to sign up. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it.
Have you been able to collect some transaction revenue for that? Have you been able to get any revenue, or are you doing the transactions for free for now?
Yeah.
So the second part of that would be ratio of artists versus studios in that 100. You said you had about 100 customers.
Correct. So to tackle the first question, right now we haven't collected any revenue. We're taking the social media aspect of building a lot of traction, and with that traction, it's brand awareness. And we figured it out, the sweet spot's at around 10,000 users. Once you get 10,000 users, that's when you can really flip it and monetize it. In addition to the second question, it's very top heavy on the artists. There's a lot of more artists out there than studios. We're starting on the East Coast where there's limited studios. There's a couple competitors out there in the West Coast, so we're gonna start East Coast, build up a little momentum, get to the West Coast, be the #1 platform out there.
Thank you. Nick, I was going to follow with some words that rhymed, but I couldn't think of any. So I'll stick to what I do best, which is was just speaking in a British accent. It's got me far enough. But thank you very much. Right? Okay, on to our next group. Our next group is Odyssey, which stands for Over Terrain Deployed Scuba Entry/Egress System. I hope by the end of this I know what that is. We have Dan Houlihan and Ian Ramsdell. Welcome to the stage, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, judges, audience members, I'm Ian Ramsdell. I'm an undergrad here at UMass Lowell. I am, more importantly, I'm a veteran of the Armed Forces. I served for 15 years before I was medically retired from the military. I was medically retired because of all the issues that I had accumulated physically and mentally through my years of service. And unfortunately, they started hindering me. The more, a little bit older I got, the more I moved forward. So I'm also a business major. I study finance and entrepreneurship. And I'm also a professional life maker, and I also run a nonprofit for wounded and injured veterans.
I'm Dan Houlihan. I'm an occupational therapist. Ian and I met through a veteran scuba diving program. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about some of the background of the things that I've been researching in my past 2 years at Tufts University. Understand some of the context that we're dealing with here as well, and to also put some context in the story. So, about half of the 2.7 million troops that have been deployed since 2001 have experienced difficulty reintegrating in society. And what we know is that this cohort tends to avoid all traditional supports. So, everything from the VA and mental health care to even the more community-based things like VFWs, things like that. What we also know from the literature is that things that meet the interests and needs of veterans, leisure activities in particular, can be a particularly powerful platform to bring individuals together, to give them things to look forward to give them means of personal growth, but also to create social and personal connections. One particular option, the way that Ian and I originally met, was in scuba diving, which is a very unique place, conducted in blue space. And what we know from the experiences of divers is the unique state of mind that it can create for you, the kind of the respite from the typical kind of the built world and the typical thoughts you have to be having. This increased intention and appreciation of the environment around you, and also the sense of connection with others that certainly becomes important during a dive, that reliance upon others, but also afterwards. So there's this sense of improved social connection that occurs through this engagement. So there's a couple of problems that you have to deal with in scuba diving. Scuba diving does not start at the edge of the boat in gear. Scuba diving starts lugging gear. This is less than a third of the gear that you would use to get to the water, particularly around. Sorry, stage. So scuba diving typically starts atop those rocks. Scuba diving starts at the top of a ladder or a platform or a plank. You have to walk down and get to the boat. And so for individuals who put some mileage on and who've worn knees out or are at a level of disability, accessing that place I was just describing to you, social connection and peace and respite, and even a sense of adventure, these kind of paradoxical states, that becomes a barrier, one of the many to getting to that place. So as a researcher, a dive instructor, a therapist, I've spoken at length with dozens of people who describe that these difficult conditions of accessing the water, in addition to all the other things we have in our lives, that's just one more barrier to get at the water. I remember the first time we sat there a couple years ago going, I wish there was an easier way to get all this gear to the water because I'm going to be hurt tomorrow. And so it's consistent with market research that this gear is managing this heavy gear, getting things over terrain is really one of the most major things that keeps people from diving, including the troops who would otherwise engage in it, but also the 3 million scuba divers in the United States who would otherwise be trying to access it in these situations. So there's a lot of market. There's a tremendous amount of turnover and dropout in the sport. So we've come up with an idea that essentially solves the problem by going over the barriers. And we've been working on several variations of it. Remarkably, there are no competing products on the market. If you saw that rocky ledge that you were trying to get the gear over, this will not work. It doesn't work particularly well on stairs, and it certainly doesn't work on the beach. So We also, the Odysseys, the over-terrain deployed scuba entry egress system, would also have uses outside the primary market for transferring gear, supplies, and even people with some models over difficult terrain and getting people into the places they want to be and things to where we want them.
Introduce the Odyssey. The Odyssey started off with an example of how are we going to be able to make ourselves less sore the next day when we have to lug this gear over uneven terrain and slippery terrain to access and do an activity that we are very passionate about. It initially started out with me developing a prototype because I got my hands on a welder, and I built this large contraption that would attach to the back of my truck. You can see it in the lower left right there. This will utilize a zip line technology from that point, which would be parked at a staging area, and then it would then go all the way down to the entrance at the water, or even on some dive sites that have mooring buoys there, we could actually connect this connection directly in the water, allowing divers or even disabled divers to leave a staging area with their equipment, zip line it directly down into the water, and then access the water itself. We currently have a second model that we're developing, which is a lightweight version, which is a zip line that actually has a webbing that you can attach to fixed objects out on the site. And we're just recently developed that, and we're pushing that forward a little bit more to see if there's a market for that one specifically. Our resources currently, we have a lot of collaboration with other dive organizations, including veteran nonprofits that are local that we're both part of, and the dive community, which is very vocal, part of a membership of the dive Facebook group that has well over 40,000 members. So we have the access to this market to either ask questions, see if there is a market for these objects, and then utilize that information to either adapt, overcome, and then actually figure out a way to bring access to these individuals. The funding will be used is mainly just for testing and make sure that this device is as safe as possible for our gear and the people that are going in the water, because this one device right here, this purple tank, if it falls off a height and gets this top valve knocked out, it turns into a projectile hazard and can cause a lot of harm. So that's one of the things we're also trying to alleviate by utilizing this device.
You're at time. Could we move to the Q&A?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any questions, ladies and gentlemen?
I guess I understand how it goes down, but how does it come back?
So we have two different options that we're putting into development. One is utilizing a winch, an electric winch, but right now the problem with the electric winch on the market is a lot of them move very slow. So depending on the incline, the amount of forces being pulled, we could end up having a return or recovery of a diver or equipment that could last well over 5 minutes, just to get it 200 feet back to the vehicle. The other way we're looking at is a pulley system that would be run as a runner underneath the zip line system and attached to the carriage, where it could physically be pulled up the less steep inclines. Does that answer your question? Any other?
Yes, how would that work on the beach? Let's say the truck is in so high. What's your
So that would be the starting point, the fixed point. I actually developed a 6-foot auger for sandy beaches that we had to wait until the weather got better to bring out and test. So we're going to test that initially, otherwise it's going to be some type of anchor point, whether it's an actual sea anchor that we're able to put in the soft sand and bed and see how much force that can take on it. Or most of these places do end up having large rock outcroppings at them that we can utilize just put a strap and a U-bolt attached to it, make sure it's real secure, and then attach the zip line directly to that.
Does that type of, I'm just having trouble picturing those types of how much clearance you're going to have. So you talk about not wanting to damage your valve, not at the other end.
Okay.
I understand if you use the auger, but if you're securing it to a rock or basically a buoy that's in the water,
yes,
that doesn't seem very stable to me and potentially create some risk with regards to that heavy equipment.
Yes, you're exactly correct, sir. It does create risk. So the mooring lines that they actually have there, They have what's called a mooring rock attached to it. Normally, it's over 2 tons worth of concrete in a circle that they attach a chain to, and that attaches to a buoy at the surface. So it's highly unlikely that we'd end up ever moving one of the mooring lines. The rocks, on the other hand, if you you see those pictures, the top two? That's a common dive site we dive here in New England. It's called Cathedral Rock. They're boulders, they're ginormous. So we have these fixed access points at those types of sites. For the, like you said, soft sand beach, we're going to experiment with augers and anchors. We haven't been able to get that far with the technology yet. It's mainly cost limiting right now. There's only so much money both of us can put out of our pocket. It's working adults with families.
Have you done any testing with live coral structures or soft coral environments? I think that there's some additional risk to damaging them.
You know, and that's one of the things is we want to have something that can sort of leave no trace that we've been there. Wrapping around a tree, wrapping around fixed rock structures, or not around live structures, not around things underwater. So the kind of what it is that we're doing.
Have you coordinated all with the diving instruction organization?
And we've not reached out to Patty, they're more training as opposed to product development. So really we're relying upon friends and colleagues from the climbing community, everywhere else, to kind of figure out what is going to be the technology that we need to use to solve this. It seems to be a relatively simple problem. The difficulty is the terrains of receipt, be it a beach or would be lacking a receiving site that we can secure to. And that's what we're trying to figure out, is what tool we need to receive. It's really stuff only 2 fixed points though.
Can you remind me of the cost, the cost of the piece structure that you're thinking about?
Okay, so unfortunately, we've got a little talking. It's a bad habit with age. We all know that. So right now, this is our target demographic. The average scuba diver is between 38 and 53 years old, and they're white collar. They make over $75,000 to $100,000, and they are used to paying larger amounts of money, $500 plus, for a piece of equipment that will make their life better. That not just for life-saving, like needing air underwater, but also for convenience as well. Our cost structure right now is estimated because it was I bootleg built this thing in my garage. It cost me roughly $280 to build it at this point. And we actually have a pre-order from one of these veteran dive organizations we know in the area. And the price point right now is $999. We haven't done enough research into the market to see what an actual price was. So that's very, very nonsense. It's more of a scale, yes.
I'm afraid I have to cut it there. Thank you. Maybe lifting that thing looked easy. I didn't want to pick it up. All right, okay. Thank you, everybody. As we move on through the evening, we are officially at the halfway point. And our next team is Protected Pin, which is Conrad Nelson, Jenna Olander, and Tatiana Tompkins. So welcome to the stage.
Hi, my name is Conrad Nelson. I'm a junior in chemical engineering, and I worked on the project management and research of the project.
My name is Jenna Olander. I'm a graphic design major, and I worked on UX.
My name is Tatiana Tompkins. I'm a sophomore in economics major here at UMass Lowell, and Mohamed Fosware is a freshman in computer engineering major. He's also a member of our team, but he's not able to be here at this time. We are P-Pin Withdraw, also known as Protected Pin. So our mission at Protected Pin is to better protect all bank users by eliminating 100% of ATM theft while providing a much more convenient ATM trip. ATM crime comes with a cost. card skimming, which is when a card scammer enters a small device into the ATM, which will collect the magnetic strip data and use all that data that they've collected at a later time. Physical attacks such as assault and battery and armed robbery, and card trapping, which is when a card scammer enters a small thread or wire into the ATM, which makes it difficult to receive your ATM card back, and then they'll go back at a later time to retrieve your ATM card and use it at a later time. All of this is a loss by the cardholder and the bank. According to FICO, ATM crime has only increased, and scanners do not solve this problem. In the US, ATM fraud during 2017 increased by 10%, and then card readers were compromised by an increase of 8%. So right here, we have the step-by-step process on how our in-app banking feature will work, and then on the next slide, we will have a video to show you how that will work. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to take your banking app and you're going to enter your username and password. From there, you're going to be able to select the Withdraw tab. When you select the Withdraw tab, you're going to choose which bank account you'd like to withdraw your cash from. From there, you're going to be able to select and enter which amount you'd like to withdraw. When you select the amount, you're going to press Random PIN. When you select Random PIN, a random 4-digit generated code will present on your smartphone device. When you actually get to the ATM itself, you're going to select the protected PIN option. From there, it's going to say enter the 4-digit PIN that you've received. You're going to enter the same exact 4-digit PIN that was presented on your smartphone into the ATM, and the amount that you've selected will be withdrawn from the account. You'll be on with your day. What is the benefit of protected PIN? We provide a benefit for the customer and the bank. For the bank, we provide loss prevention and customer acquisition. Right now, this is the only solution for PIN and card protection. And with this protection, we'll be able to save banks billions and billions of dollars a year and provide a cheap form of fraud prevention. For the customer, it provides security and convenience along with protecting your card and PIN and making a much more convenient ATM trip. Every month, an average of 28 minutes per month is spent by the ATM users at the ATM. With this extra 28 minutes, you'll be able to spend more time watching your favorite Netflix show. So our business model would be, we intend to license our banking in-app feature for around $1.95 per person and then a 15-cent annual service charge. Right now we seek funding for around $6,000. With the $6,000, we'll spend $4,000 for a prototype, $1,500 for a temporary IP protection, and then an extra $500 to actually use our app with a real ATM. Thank you, judges, for your time. My name is Tatiana Tompkins. We are Protected PIN, and we are open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Could I start by asking, that's kind of two-factor authentication, similar to a lot of things that do with using your cell phone as additional factors to the PIN. Is there anybody doing that yet that you've seen?
With having two-factor?
With having the two-factor authentication.
So Wells Fargo actually offers an option where they'll send you an 8-digit code that you can use at an ATM if you don't have your card. But then you have to use your actual PIN after. So you enter the 8-digit code and then your PIN. So that doesn't protect your PIN at all. So our option is totally unique to all the other solutions out there now with PIN protection. And we also don't need your card at the ATM, which is found in other solutions. But what's unique is the PIN protection. And we use GPS, the GPS software on your phone to recognize the phone. That's how the ATM knows that you're within a very close proximity. Yes, we are going back and forth talking with DCU and a little bit with enterprise banks, but that's really the next thing to do is to start communicating more with banks and also ATM manufacturers. That's why we need to get in touch with ATM manufacturers, because we'll also need to modify the ATM UI slightly. Because when the ATM recognizes the phone with the GPS, then a different prompt will come up, just prompting you to give a random PIN. and then that's all you enter, and then you can get your cash and receipt, and that's all you have to do.
So you said you talked to the banks, but were they open to talking about this, or how did that all work out?
Yeah, they, we're going back and forth, and it's all depends on how and when we seek funding, and first we want to get IP protection, and then work on product development. Yeah.
So you just said you had to alter the code that the machine actually uses. So you're going to need them to buy into that too, and I'm sure that's going to be somewhat controlled because there's a lot of money involved in this whole thing. So.
Yes. Yeah. We're looking to try to partner with banks and ATM companies.
How will you protect this idea?
We're looking to file for a PPA or a non-PPA. I forget which is the more legitimate one. But that's I think closer to $10,000 to $20,000. So I think we would file for the more temporary one first, which is usually just I think $100 or $200.
So you can patent code, you
Yes, yes, and yeah, we do have some sample code. That's what our other group member was doing. Yes, so the code with the random pin paired with GPS being used for banks, that would suffice as the
Is that ATM code or is that the code of the app?
That's app code.
Okay.
How would this work with the existing, mobile apps that banks already have? Would you integrate with that in some way to become another function within their existing apps?
Yes, yeah, we would be a feature to be applied to existing banking apps. Most already have a bunch of tabs at the top, like home, account with deposit, but I don't think any have withdraw, so that's where we would fit.
What happens if the phone is stolen? Or, how much of this is device dependent?
Well, to get into your banking app, you have to enter your password, so the person steals the phone, would have to know that. Yeah, and they have to know that, and we might have another verification in the app, like entering your PIN, just to get to the withdrawal. Security. Yeah. Thank you.
Our next team, I'm not allowed to have favourites, nor does it in any way matter, but I told them they're my favourites, and I'm going to commit to that, so you're my favourites, whatever that means. No, the next team is Revive, which is Derek Jameson, Nicholas Lydon, and Alison Michelle. Welcome to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are Project Revive. My name is Derek Jameson. I'm a nationally and state certified active paramedic, and these are my team members. Alison Michelle, a senior chemical engineering student here at the University of Massachusetts Lowell, with 2 years experience in the medical device industry, and Nicholas Lydon, longtime friend, and also senior chemical engineering student here at the University of Massachusetts Lowell. So before I present our device to you, first I'd like to discuss the problem a bit, the opioid epidemic. In 2017, it was declared a national emergency by the President of the United States. 130 American citizens die every single day due to opioid use. If you look around, it's more people than there are in this room right now. So the two specific parts of the problem that we hope to address is number one, how long it takes to identify an overdose, and number two, the time between the identification of an overdose and the administration of the life-saving medication, naloxone, otherwise known as Narcan. So, the solution to the problem, our device, Revive. It's an armband, a wearable, autonomous medical device that both detects an opioid overdose and then subsequently administers a dose of naloxone, reversing its effects. It does this by combining two pieces of medical technology already in clinical practice, a pulse oximeter and an auto-injector system. The pulse oximeter will measure when one's blood oxygen saturation reaches near lethal levels and subsequently activate the auto-injector mechanism, which will administer a dose of naloxone either intramuscularly or subcutaneously in very severe opioid overdose. We believe this will be the new standard of care. So, the opportunity at hand is to save lives. Of those 130 deaths that occur every day in our nation, each and every single one of them is preventable. We aim to accomplish this by providing our device to those most in need, distributing it to people after their discharge for opioid overdose treatment, co-prescription with opioid medications, as well as providing this to emergency personnel and people who deal with hazardous materials on a regular basis who come in contact with these potent opioid addicts. Criminalization has done very little to curtail this crisis at hand. And going forward, there is an emphasis on harm reduction and sustaining life so that these people can gain access to the treatment which they need. The efficacy of our device is based on two things, one being the technological component and the other is the human component. Now, technologically, our device is sound and clinically practical. One concern we have for the human component is user compliance. So I reached out directly to those affected by addiction and their families, and I received some overwhelmingly positive feedback from them. In the event user compliance was to be less than we expect, we hope to be able to go forward with some public health initiatives and incentives in order to increase the user compliance and make our device more attractive to those addicted to opioids. So the numbers. In 2017, the average cost of a dosage unit of naloxone was $400. Based on data we've collected, it appears that the amount of dosage units dispensed every year is increasing in a linear trend, and the market value is expected to reach $3 billion by the end of 2019. The resources we currently have at hand have been those provided by the DifferenceMaker program, as well as the interest and support of a CEO and entrepreneur who has launched multiple successful startups, including medical devices. With the resources we have and those we plan to gain, we would like to fully secure our intellectual property and further develop our alpha prototype. We have a broad plan outlined for you here, with the end goal being that within 2 years, we would like to be in front of the FDA for review with Revive as a Class 2 medical device. And I have to add, as a paramedic for the past almost 4 years now, I've done a lot of call-outs for opioid overdoses. And this isn't about the ones that were successful that we saved. This is for all the ones we couldn't. Thank you.
So, I just wanted to get across the it's an armband, or is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I guess it'll eject at some point, you said, when you get these triggers.
So, if you've ever been to a hospital, there's a device called a pulse oximeter. It's something that will feel on your finger. So, when that will be on the armband, and when your pulse oximetry reading drops to near lethal levels, it will trigger the auto-injector mechanism, which will inject around your bicep, either subcutaneously or intramuscularly, the preloaded dose of naloxone.
So what did they get in the arm? Where is the user going to get?
In a perfect world, we'd like it to be dispensed directly at the ER itself, but also pharmacies as a prescription product.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand. So is the user going to have it on around the clock for a while until they go out and decide they're going to?
That is an option, but it only necessarily needs to be worn immediately before or after someone plans on using the controlled substance.
So if they're mandated to, by their terms of probation, then they probably would be wearing it 24/7, but if they're not mandated to, that's obviously up to the user. And that also has to do with user compliance and whatnot and the efficacy of the device. So I guess we'll see once we start some sort of human trial as to how often people tend to wear it, or if people would wear it 24/7, and also by using incentives, we can get them to wear it more often if it becomes a problem.
I assume it's a one-time use.
Yes, it could be. We're looking into making the actual band reusable, and just the ejection system could be replaced.
Is there a lifespan issue or an expiration issue with regard to the device on the person's body? problematic if it gets wet, you know, all that stuff.
Well, pulse oximeters, like any other medical device, will never be 100% reliable. So we plan on having a mechanism in place that will both vibrate and beep for approximately 30 seconds before the device goes off. So say there is a false reading and the user is in fact not overdosing, conscious and alert, they can merely hit the button to deactivate the device for a preset amount of time before it resumes normal function.
Also, our initial prototype will probably not be waterproof because we just want to make it as cost effective as possible and kind of basic, just so that we can get it out there and start testing stuff. But obviously more advanced versions of the device will be waterproof, and also we have other modifications that we'd like to make in the future to make it waterproof.
So the idea again is the person who's taking this drug would put this on before they take the drug. They wouldn't necessarily wear it all the time.
Wearing it all the time isn't optional, but like you said, doing it before they administer the drug, or in the best case scenario, before they go to sleep, because that's when these people tend to die. Is they use their drugs, they lie down, they go to bed, they don't wake back up.
Or if somebody's prescribed the drug and they've just been upped in dosage and they're about to take it and they don't know the resistance, their grandma's taking it and she forgets that she took a dose and she wants to take it again, she can just put it on before she takes her dose. So it wouldn't have to be 1/24/7.
Is there a risk that potentially having this device that it actually provides a higher level of comfort for somebody and it creates a reverse effect, despite the fact that it actually does save them once they use it?
I am so happy you asked that, because that was one of the greatest concerns in deploying Narcan on police and fire units, as well as in certain ambulances across the country. And what they found was drug usage didn't really increase in any significant manner. The only thing that happened was less people died.
So basically, they're still going to use, and this in a way is going to be incentivizing them, but also our public incentives would try to sway them to go get help. So basically, like maybe discounted rehabilitation prices or priority at a rehabilitation facility if they wear the device to try and associate it with getting better.
It sounds to me like maybe rehab facilities are a great place to start, right? Isn't it frequently an issue that people get out of rehab and then use and then OD because their bodies have kind of, yeah.
Those are the ones most susceptible to an overdose, yes.
So a lot of them are people that are trying to get better and they just haven't found their way yet. We don't have really a great way of going about treating this or rehabbing people who are getting it better yet. But as Derek said earlier, criminalizing it didn't make it better. We don't have a solution yet. And so the national initiative and the needs of the public right now are really just harm reduction to save the lives that we have the ability to until we have a better way of treating these people.
Is it the idea of insurance companies or public health?
Well, we would love to be able to contract with Medicare and Medicaid like any other successful health service in the country, and hopefully more insurance companies from there. But there's also a very decent chance it's becoming a public health initiative in some areas to push this in the population, simply because it's just overwhelming at this time, and it's a national emergency. And there's some funding set aside in almost every state in the nation so far for facts like that.
Okay, before we enter our last three presentations of the evening, we have our second raffle announcement of a UML hat, flag, bobblehead, 4 tickets to the hockey, 6 tickets to the basketball. I still haven't had an invitation, but I'm ever hopeful. Earl Durham. Is Earl Durham here? Welcome. Forward to it. New best friend. New best friend. Okay, our third of the last group. We have the Cat Mat, which is Michelle Melu and Katie Mills. Welcome to the stage.
Michelle Maylou.
And I'm Katie Muse. We're both physical therapy graduate students, and today we're here to talk to you about the Community Ambulation Tool Mat, also known as the CAT mat. So physical therapists are movement experts, and abnormality of gait, or a person's manner of walking, is one of the primary impairments that we treat. Currently, there is no lightweight, cost-effective, easy-to-use device that therapists can use to train patients to successfully ambulate in the community or walk outside. We have been studying in this field for 6 years and have experienced this problem firsthand. We know there is a need for a better gait training device. We surveyed UMass Lowell PTs and PTs practicing in the surrounding area. 100% responded that patients would benefit from gait training on uneven terrain. However, 77% said they found it challenging to simulate this terrain, and 74% said that was due, in part, to a lack of functionally accurate simulation devices. The AirX Balance Pad is the most comparable product on the market. It is a foam balance pad that cannot simulate an outdoor environment and patients cannot walk on, and is therefore not a solution to this problem. We also researched common diagnoses associated with gait impairments, and the incidence number per year was staggering, with traumatic brain injury ranking in over 250,000 per year and ankle sprains well over 1 million. DTs are treating these patients every single day, and with insurance constantly tightening the purse strings, we want to get patients better, quicker, faster.
So, our solution to getting patients better, quicker, faster is called the CAT mat. It's a community ambulation tool. So, this is an interlocking puzzle piece mat system that's 1 foot by 1 foot in dimensions. It's going to be made out of a compressible top layer and filled with various size compressible beads. So the idea is that when you step on this mat, the beads inside will disperse and create a different orientation when you step on it every time. So that way it'll feel like you're walking on an uneven surface or like you're outdoors. So our mat is buildable, which means it can become as long or as wide as desired per individual patient needs. It also has an anti-slip bottom, which means that it won't slide while in use. So, it can treat a variety of patients, anywhere between traumatic brain injury to chronic ankle sprains, as Katie alluded to earlier. This means that it's going to be very valuable for physical therapists and for the places in which they treat. So the CAT mat is a functional tool, which means that it will improve a patient's functional outcomes with gait training, and it will eventually improve a facility's ratings. So 92% of the therapists that we surveyed said that the CAT mat would be a great tool for gait training, which was perfect because physical therapists are our target audience. So we'll start with inpatient hospitals because they have the largest population of patients that need gait training. And then once it gains popularity there, we'll move on to outpatient facilities and to home care. So we've gotten a bunch of donations from other professionals so far, but for resources, we will need 8,000 initially, so 6,000 from DifferenceMakers would go a long way for us. We're going to make some prototypes and test out those prototypes, and we'll also be looking into intellectual property, so patenting and marketing our mat. And then in the long term, we are hoping to hire a website developer and then eventually start our own company. But in order to do this, we really need a cheaper and faster way to create this mat. So we plan to make an injection mold, and that is going to cost anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000. So right now, 1 unit of our mat to create is about $180, but with the TPU injection mold that we plan to make, it will only cost $26 to make 1 mat. And 60% of the therapists that we surveyed said that they would pay $75 to $100 for our product. And so the $26 that we anticipate to need for making it is only 25% of that. So we will be making about 75% profit. We wanted to thank you, Difference Makers and everyone here. We appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, please let us know.
When you use those numbers, how big is the mat?
It's going to be 1 square foot, so the model we handed out is about 6 inches.
And so is that 1 square foot $75?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be considerably larger than that. But they would need to do everything.
Yes.
So you should
elements together?
Yes. So with the puzzle piece arrangement, you can make it as long or as wide as desired. We also plan to make package deals for this. For example, we have a package deal for parallel bars that we were thinking of making. Parallel bars are about 10 feet long, so you would need about 10 of them, but then twice because we want one per foot, so it'll be about 20 of these mats.
And then will all have the same, I'll call it an obstruction, the difficulty piece, or will the physical therapist be able to change them out and make them different? Or?
Yeah, so right now we're thinking we're going to color code, and that will indicate least impaired patients. This is, like, say, yellow is what you use for them, and then most impaired patients will use something like red. So they will have different difficulties.
And will you sell them all of it, or will you ask them to buy the yellow and the reds and the blues separately?
Separate. As different, like, package deals.
Can you explain again how you get that out of this?
Sure. So we're actually going to use 3 different sizes of those. So that's 1/8 of an inch. That's our smallest. And then we're also going to use 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 of an inch. And we're going to put them all inside that cavity there. So when you step, you'll feel the different sizes, and they'll spread out differently. So it feels different with each step.
Have you actually done that?
Not yet. So we actually just finished our print this morning. So yeah, we're making progress every day. So we do have testing plans set up.
So it could change significantly after you test it?
Yeah, we're definitely open to change. Yeah.
When you think about the size, is there I don't understand the process, but are there different thicknesses for that based on different phases the therapy is being performed for? Or is that pretty standard? It looks like the size that you have is what, 3/8 of an inch, or maybe?
Yeah, so those are 1/8 of an inch. Basically, this is all going to be trial and error with our prototyping and testing our prototypes within our initial plan. We're just going to try a whole bunch of different things and see what works best. And then to go with what we were talking about with the different levels of difficulty, we'll maybe use more beads or use less beads, make the mat thicker or thinner, things like that.
Okay.
Yes.
And that would be the point where you would actually spend the money to get the mold made once you got past the testing and determined what it was going to be the ultimate product.
Yes, we also have a connection with the UMass Lowell professor to use pressure sensors. So we're going to compare patients walking outside over different terrains such as sidewalk or grass, and then compare how they walk on our net using those sensors and see if it has a correlation.
So are you going to mold like this piece, and then you're going to fill it?
Yes.
And then you're going to put
With that on the bottom.
and seal it.
Yeah, perfect.
So you're going to mold 2 parts.
Yes, the bottom part is a lot easier to create. It's just a laser cutter with a polycarbonate base.
And I assume these would last forever, right? So they'll be refreshing and replacing them over time, right? So you're not going to run out of the market.
Yeah.
Have you thought about maybe longer term, fitness implications for a device like this? I mean, I understand the physical therapy implications, but there's a lot of fitness and training around core strength, development, balance, development, etc.
Yeah, so physical therapy is the market we plan to start with, but we're definitely planning to branch out to individual markets. Yeah, because there are already products that exist that can be used in other things besides physical therapy, so why can't ours?
Okay, our penultimate team this evening is Used Cars, featuring Moya Al-Hayat, Daniel Falcone, Shanice Kelly, and Max Bushel. Welcome.
evening, everybody. My name is Max, and I'm a grad student in electrical engineering.
My name is Moya. I'm a junior electrical engineer.
My name is Shanice. I'm a junior mechanical engineer.
And my name is Dan. I'm a senior in finance and management information systems. Now picture this. It's 5:33 p.m. You just got off work. You're driving down the highway. All of a sudden you get a call. You find out it's your spouse, and they're screaming in your ear because they are trapped in the bathroom because they ran out of toilet paper. Now, you have to get toilet paper, go home as soon as possible, otherwise your life is over. So what do? You quickly get off the highway, you go to the grocery store, you grab toilet paper, and you rush to the self-checkout line, only to find this situation. There's 20 plus people in front of you, they all have 50 plus items, none of them are using the machines properly, and getting one item is going to take you over 20 minutes.
And that is a problem. And you're not the only one. That we saw that 77% from our research, they least satisfied with self-checkout experience to date. Moreover, their self-checkout systems are inefficient, they are confusing, and they're expensive. They could cost $30,000 US. Not to mention that the US market is a low-margin market with constantly increasing wages, whether it's human resources or technology. That's why we got an opportunity. From our research, we saw that 60% of people spend more than 5 minutes waiting in line. Whether from the third-party survey, we saw the least satisfying experience for customers are lines. Not to mention that the US market, they spend on average for 70 employees per location to operate in a store.
So our solution is UStart. UStart is a fully modular integrative system that will be able to be placed onto any existing shopping cart and create a frictionless shopping experience for any customer. How this product will work is that the customer will go about their shopping as normal. However, now they will be able to scan their items directly into their cart. Our system will tally up their total, and as soon as they want to leave, they exit the building without ever stopping at a cashier, and they will be billed accordingly without having to actually wait in line. Now, the benefits of this for the store is that they have higher foot traffic, people will be more enthusiastic to go shopping, people will no longer view going to the store as such a massive time commitment. And in order to focus around security and protect from, say, shrinkage or from theft of our individual module, if there is an unexpected item in the cart, the weight sensor will go off, and after 30 seconds, the wheels will automatically lock. And if the cart starts to leave the parameters that we specify for it, the wheels will also lock, making the cart unable to move. Now, this space is in its infancy, however, there are a lot of major tech names entering the space. Such as Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Google. And all of them are taking different approaches on how to make the customer experience better. However, all of their solutions require a massive amount of CapEx and IT infrastructure in place that small and mid-sized companies just simply cannot afford. And that's where we come in. We plan on making a fully modular, very cost-effective system that will allow even the small guy to keep up with the big guy. And this is how we plan on sustaining ourselves. For each location here in Massachusetts, we plan on making just under $6,000 in profit a year. And assuming we're able to penetrate 1% of the market, we'll be making about $36,000 a year. Now, the reason why this is appealing, say, from the business standpoint, is that a used cart is only 15% of the cost of an employee. And the shopper will be interested in using their system because they'll be saving on average 4 hours a year from waiting in line.
And as today, from our feedback from multiple stores, we finalized our design, and now we're looking forward for prototyping. And that's why, judges, we are asking for $5,000 in order to create 3 different prototypes of the modular with app development and cloud storage, and deploy our solution to the stores and make market research. Help us to help you to see no more lines with UStart. Thank you.
So, and I might have missed it when you went by the cost side of it. What's the cost of one? Are you going to own these and rent them out, or are you going to sell them? And whichever way that is, what's the actual? You have a cheaper solution, but what is that cost for the individual carriages, for example?
Yes, we plan on leasing out these modules that will be able to go onto any existing cart that, say, any grocery store already has. The total cost for it, assuming from scratch without prototyping, is going to be just under $1,000. It comes out to $954, and that is including buying a shopping cart in order for us to test this all out. So the actual product will be just about $700, and we plan on charging about $300 a month per cart that is installed.
If it's based on weight, the weight in the cart, how sensitive, how finely can you calibrate the carts to be sensitive enough? I mean, like that sounds like, if it's fabric, if it's, lettuce, if it's, you're all gonna have like sort of different weights.
So I've worked at a grocery store at Whole Foods, and so a lot of the stuff we do is, so a lot of stores have already technologies that you can stations, so you can weight your stuff and then it will print sticker for produce. And then also I've worked with the weights and audits, and I worked with Cambridge City while I was a supervisor at Whole Foods. So also a lot of that, we do like a lot of auditing in that, so we calibrate those, and based on that, we're gonna be off-testing some prototypes.
How robust are they going to be? Shopping carts get that one up pretty good.
We are planning to use ABS plastic, and that's pretty much the same thing that Lego blocks are made of. And I don't know if anyone ever tried to destroy a Lego block. It is impossible, and it's pretty much shock resistant. And for waterproof, we're planning to do a silicone sealant. And both we did research, and both methods are pretty inexpensive. And also injection, because of the ABS plastic, we can do injection molding to make the manufacturing cost lower and put in the future
Two things. One, every different place I go to has a different kind of card, a different shape of card. Some are plastic, some are metal, whatever. Does that create a lot of complexities for you with regards to working with smaller retailers? And the second part of it is purses, and bring my own bag, different things that could end up in a carriage that are going to, kids. No, I would never trust the right? She's afraid I would come home with her. How do you factor in those elements? I know that there's weighing capabilities out there already, but not necessarily when there's other variables. I don't know if they go together, but I wanted to get them both off my chest.
I will answer the first question. So currently the way we design it is to make it adjust to the cart. So it's not in this prototype, but the sides will come out accordingly to adjust to the cart. And we still have to go in and do research to see what but the thing is right now it's for a standard cart. That's what I did the dimensions on, but we are planning to make it adjustable.
And to answer the second question about, say, the kid or the purse and things like that. For bags, there will be hooks on it that you can just kind of pop it on and go about the store with it. With kids, we're not really focused around people carrying kids. So the target market to enter it in, we're mainly focused on either young people or people in a hurry that are only going to be getting, say, 12 items or 20 items or less in the express lanes, replacing those so that way they're more efficient and people can go in and out, not people, at least for right now, that are going to be, spending a half hour in the store plus.
So just walk me through the process that a shopper would go through. Would they enter their credit card information at the beginning of walking in the store into the cart, and then as they add items into their cart, they scan them in and it starts to accumulate?
Okay. I'll walk you through it. So if someone's going to be walking up to the cart, they can kind of set up their payment method one of two ways. With our app, if you have an account, you can just walk up to it and like a zip card, tap your phone on it and it'll load up your profile. And then, no issue there. If you don't have us with the app, there is a pen pad on it that you can pay for directly with it once you're going to enter the store. The wheels will lock and you can't leave until you pay. And during the shopping experience, the customer will kind of go around, they'll scan their items into the cart, If you see the blue lines around it, those are all scanners that are looking for barcodes. So once you enter it in, it beeps it in. And if you take out an item, it will kind of bleep on your screen like, are you removing this item or what's going on? And you can either put it back or click yes, remove, and continue about shopping.
Yeah. Nice job.
Okay, everybody, we are here at our final group of the evening. And just before I announce the group, I'd just like to make one special additional announcement about them, because the group that's coming up now, Voted, is a team made up entirely from Middlesex Community College students who took part in the DifferenceMaker Middlesex Community College Collaborative Partnership. So they have already won the Middlesex Community College competition before, and because of that they are allowed to then come and compete in ours at the preliminary pitch-off, and again they've been successful there and they've made their way to the stage. So a wonderful example of kind of the growth of this, difference makers, and there goes the pen. So with that I will welcome Voted, which is Michael Bingham, Gillian Inglis and Olivia Raposa. Welcome to the stage.
And financials. We have Michael Dignan, and he's in charge of social media and marketing. And we have Olivia Raposa, and she's in charge of policy and public relations.
As a first-time voter in this upcoming election and college student, time is of the essence to me. And I want to be a prepared and educated voter when I'm voting. And this is a dilemma to me.
It is a dilemma. In fact, it's a tremendous problem. In fact, there was a study done that showed only 16% of people were correctly able to identify both their senators. Let that sink in for a moment. If people aren't even able to identify their senators, how do we expect them to cast an educated vote? People are voting solely based off political affiliation. They're just checking the box of the person's name that they think they saw on TV. Or worst of all, they're not voting. Which is why we've come up with a solution that will not only revolutionize politics, but it will change the way our nation thinks about voting. It's Voted, the first ever voter engagement app. It's an education platform that has all-inclusive information. So the basic idea is in 5 minutes, you can know everything you might need to know about your government, your elected officials, and your local office. It works in a simple and easy 3-step process. Step number 1, you're going to enter your zip code. Step number 2 is you're going to get a list of all your elected officials, starting at the presidential level and going all the way down to local. And step 3 is by clicking on an elected official, you're going to get a list of all of the facts of their case. So what is their voting history? What are their views on different bills? And what is their platform? Our potential opportunity for this app is tremendous. As we've said, this isn't just an app, this is something that's going to revolutionize politics. We want to specifically target young voters, especially millennials ages 18 through 24, because that's where we're seeing the lowest voter engagement. In fact, in the state of Florida, only 8% of registered voters 18 through 24 bracket actually voted. So if we can scale that, we can actually change the results of elections. We plan to scale all the way up to a national level and include every single voter in America. So what's it going to take to make this all happen? The first thing we want to do, this is our budget for a prototype, the first thing we want to do is get our app up and running, right? So we're going to go to schools such as UMass Lowell and speak to people in the computer science department and get them to code our app, get them involved in what we're doing, and that will provide lower costs going into the market. The next thing we're going to do is register as an LLC, and the legal fees included in that. And then the last thing we want to do is social media marketing, because that's where our target audience is. Mike, actually, my teammate, has his own social media marketing company, Therefore, we'll be able to do specific, targeted, and thoughtful ads to reach our target. Now, we know that the app's a great idea. We know we're going to revolutionize politics. But how are we going to make the money, right? Ad revenue. This is going to be extremely scalable, extremely flexible, and it's going to vary slightly because of our app. So when primaries come along, you're going to see a huge influx of people. Suddenly, everybody's on the app. It's going to die down a little bit. And then when generals come, huge influx of people. Everybody's on the app. So we've created just a basic, simple calculator based off of impressions and hits to basically design how much money we can make projectively, and again, extremely scalable. So you know that we're going to revolutionize politics, and you know that we're going to change the way our nation thinks. So I just have one question for you today. Are you ready to make sure everyone has voted?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's a great idea, but who's going to be the judge of what is factual?
I'm so glad you asked that, right? We want to provide completely unbiased information, so we're looking only at stuff that is easily public record, such as voting history, something that you can easily find by public record, how they're going to vote on bills, again, easily public record, and as far as their platform, again, it's something that is said by their website, so again, easily public record. We also have the potential opportunity to be partnering with other unbiased voter engagement, such as Ballotpedia, which already provides a list of unbiased information. That way we can just link it to our app and similar type stuff.
You're going to leave information supplied by a politician.
we want to provide what their platform is going to be according to them, right? So, but then again, we also want to show what's their voting history. So are they actually voting according to their platform? If not, you're going to be able to see on our app in 5 minutes.
So from a revenue perspective, and
Yes.
you're talking about ads, right or perception or reality, how do you deflect that there may be bias involved in that process based on who the advertising is? And, you know, where you're making your money is telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Perception-wise.
So with that, we're going to try to make sure our ads are unbiased. We're basically going to stay away from basically anything that would be biased. And I mean, there's still, besides that, we still have a lot of advertisers that we can work with. Like Coca-Cola, for example, they're not going to be biased when it comes to politics, you know? So we have a lot of advertisers that like we can work with.
So we're going to screen all of our ads because we do want to make sure it's a completely unbiased platform. That will involve things like Mike said, basically eliminating any political ads. So we don't want a random Elizabeth Warren ad popping up in our app. So basically all political ads will be screened. And then also we will be screening ads as we go through, definitely.
Also in addition, so everything has a bias. Everyone has a bias. Everyone has their own sort of thoughts that they want to put out in the world. So this is just to provide information for people. This is for them to take the information that we're providing and for them to decide with that information what they want to do with it, how they want to vote, how they want to help their family, how they want to help their community.
Is the content actively curated by you, or are you doing feeds? Like, how are you going to manage the information?
Okay, so now you asked that. So most of the information can be found through a statewide database. We actually plan on linking to that database. It's a mandate that the state update that database as current as anything that comes up. So by linking to that database, we will assure that everything is updated completely, but also we understand there will be costs involved in running this and keeping it up to date. So we have that projected into our business model, and we plan to have people working, you know, on a daily basis to make sure that all the information stays up to date, current, and is run well.
You sort of said you're going to do this within 5 minutes, so if somebody wants to go in and I'm going to get linked to the state's database.
Oh, so our app will be linked. Basically, we'll be taking our information, to be clear. So the information on our app, as in like us running it, it will be linked to the state's database. What you see as a user, you will not be seeing state's database. It's just as a behind the scenes linking it to make sure it's the most up to date.
Are you kind of capturing user information? Are you like, is it, you know, is there a cost to subscribe to one thing? Are they putting in personal information other than things like this?
Yeah, so I'm so glad you asked that. So the first step for our platform is just to have this basic, we will not be, obviously all of your information is confidential. We will not be using this code for anything. The second step of our platform is, especially for, this is targeting a little bit of our older age range, is the people who are saying, like, this is an amazing resource for me. I want to support this app. So they could pay for a premium version of the app, which would basically be ad-free, and then there's also other subscriptions that we could be offering down the line.
Yes, so we are not going to do any sort of data collection or selling that to any other companies.
Right. Yeah, that'll have implications on your advertising model. That's all.
Yeah.
That's why advertising.
How many safeguards that you guys put in there, like people working behind the scenes to alter someone else's record? That's very possible.
So that would be part of what we need to do to have the ability for someone to actually code the website, and they would need to put the safeguards in through different privacy laws and that kind of thing.
And the only information you're putting on as a user is your zip code.
Yeah. We're not asking for name or political affiliation or anything like
Just
that.
your zip code.
Just naming IDs from like source IDs.
We will, are you asking?
Will you not? Will you not?
So we again, that will all be influenced into our coding. So we definitely want to prevent any outside sources from coming in, of course. But as far as the information taken aspect, the only thing you're providing is your zip code. Thank you.
So this is really an exciting part of the evening, and I know you all are looking forward to hearing the announcements, and I just want to make sure I do this properly. I don't want to mix these up. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to introduce the honorable mentions, and so as I explained to our judges earlier, this is really just the start of the process, right? These folks are still in that fuzzy front end of innovation and entrepreneurship. The actual entrepreneurship piece, the business creation, comes later in this process. So everybody who presented tonight will be invited to our boot camp this summer, and we'll be helping them to develop their ideas, do customer discovery, build a better business model, answer some of the questions you may have. So everyone has a chance to move forward. And we'll also be providing some funding for the honorable mention teams, as well as for the prize winners tonight. So that's the good news. This is really just the start. So, Holly, what is the honorable mention prize?
$2,000.
$2,000 and a beautiful plaque. Excellent. Thank you, Holly. So let me start with our honorable mention teams. And if your team wants to come up to the front and shake hands with Holly and get a trophy, we would like to welcome you. Evie Smart, congratulations for your honorable mention. Odyssey, over-terrain tactical scuba personnel delivery device. Protected pin, the ATM Fast app. Revive. Next step. I want to make a joke on this one, but I can't think of one. The cat map. So congratulations to all of the honorable mention teams. This is not the end, this is still the beginning. You'll all be in boot camp. I expect you to work hard. And as I said to teams before, the prize funding is part of this, right? The truth is, if you have a really good idea, you're willing to work hard, and enough other people think it's a good idea, we can still get you and your product out to the market. So let's keep that in mind as we're moving you through boot camp this summer. Now, next comes the prize, the awards for our different categories. So the way we structure this is we have 4 different categories, and we have a campus-wide difference maker team. And the categories are meant to emphasize different aspects and the disciplines and different skills at our campus. So the first prize is the Significant Social Impact Award, and that's an award for a innovation, a solution that'll have a positive impact on a significant societal problem. And given the challenges on the political scene, I think the judges felt strongly that Vote Ed should receive the Significant Social Impact. Congratulations to our partners and Middlesex Community College. Next up is the Sutherland Innovative Technology Solution Award, and this is a solution that presents a new and innovative technical approach to solving a problem at hand, or in this case, at card. Use card. Please come on. The next award, sponsored by Circle Health, is Contribution to a Healthier Lifestyle, and ECG for Me. The next award is the Jack M. Wilson First Product to Market Award, and this is a solution that is ready to roll out to the market, or in this case may already be in the market, and Jam Fuse stole out. Before we announce the Risk Campus-wide Difference Maker, you did all have a chance to vote with your Difference Maker dollars, craftily created by Holly every year. Thank you for that. You brought your fan club from the business school. So we would like to bring Bar Scene up to the stage to accept the fan favor. They didn't have their name tags on. They must have. And finally, the Campus-Wide Difference Maker Award is a team that demonstrates a significant commitment to the development and deployment of an innovative product that addresses a pressing regional, local, social ill. And this evening, we're really excited to welcome Benji Ball to the stage to represent UMass Lowell as the Risk Campus-Wide Difference Maker. Do you have any closing remarks, or?
You're standing at the podium. You've got it.
With that, I want to thank everyone for joining us here. I want to thank our judges for working hard. I want to thank our teams, thank our sponsors, and I guarantee you, you'll be seeing great things from these teams next year after they've been rushed through boot camp this summer. Thanks a lot, folks. Have a great evening.